Welcome to Flipping Miami, a podcast for those who want to learn real estate investing, do more, and make more. Now, here is your host, Raul Bolufe.
Kind of steering a little bit away from the real estate, but more on like you personally.
Yeah.
I guess so you're obviously thinking of this stuff daily, right? Like, hour spent, time versus money, mailbox money. Like, what happened in your life that you started on this journey? So you started in 2003, I think you said, right? I guess were you like a business person before 2003? Like, what happened in your life that you started these thoughts started coming? Did you start reading? Did you get a mentor? Like, what happened in your life that, you are who you are right now?
Yeah. So, my background is being a workaholic.
Okay.
So, came at a cost of my family. Got 2 daughters, got a really awesome daughter and an amazing wife. We're celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary, just more because she than me, right? Because I was like the absent father, emotionally, mentally, traveling a lot. Like a lot of us as entrepreneurs, like we're searching for a better life and we're kind of the breadwinner. I was the breadwinner and got a little lost. And so it wasn't until probably 2013 where finally I'm like, I just know, like, I want to do something different, right? It's the Albert Einstein. We've all heard it. It's like the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And so I got really good coaching. I have 4 coaches. Okay. And so let me just say, I have on Instagram, I have my morning minute. I just launched it, which is a real quick, like, hey, here's my morning minute. And I'm usually sharing here's my one nugget of like what's changed for me. But one is 5-10-3. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I was always struggling or like running like a maniac, fires everywhere. Yeah. My team on fire. And so this came from a coach, and he basically, Willie Hooks, who's one of my coaches. And he told me, he goes, Gary, wake up earlier, push your day out later, and just work a couple of hours, but focus as a CEO. So I have a rule that's 5-10-3. I wake up at 5. Okay. I don't start my business day until 10, ever. Yeah. Like I am off limits. So I have 5 personal hours of just me. Yeah. I make coffee. I leave coffee for my wife. I do the dishes. I journal. I read scripture. Yeah. I go work out. And during that time, the only business thing that I really do is I come up with my one thing. What is the one thing that I'm doing today?
I like that.
That's going to move the marker in the business. That's going to move the marker for me and move the marker for my family. And I write it up on my whiteboard. That's the only thing I write on my whiteboard, by the way, these days.
Oh, wow.
It's my one thing. And I'm actually able to do my 3 things. The 3, so that's 5-10. I don't start my day. I don't jump into email. I don't look at email ever. My cell phone, if anybody calls my cell phone, it goes to voicemail. I haven't checked voicemail in probably a year and a half. And it hasn't mattered because that's not where the money is. And then the 3 are the 3 hours that I'm going to spend in my business today. And I'm going to focus on moving the marker. And it's usually a 15 or 20 or 30-minute thing. Like I'm going to reach out to a money guy that I met, or I'm going to talk to somebody in a new market, right? I'm bidding on a new office building. We're thinking about buying an office building. It actually has a gym. A huge gym. Wow. I'm thinking of like having my office as a gym where I could record videos and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
So what's those? So that's a big thing.
That's really cool.
So I just think, I think there's habits of an entrepreneur, a successful entrepreneur. I think traction is another thing. You've got it on your whiteboard. I think everybody on this call, if you're really trying to build a true business, Traction by Gino Wickman has changed my life. Yeah, what it is, it's like, there's an accountability component of like how to build a team that's accountable. What's your vision, where you're going. So like we're relentless, man. We are relentless on knowing where we're going. And I've got multiple businesses. The challenge with me is I've got a lending business. I have a real estate business in 4 markets, and I've got REIvault, and we have these other ancillary. I'm actually working on I've got a new trainer, and we're actually working on a info product.
Nice.
For it's actually pretty cool for like people that are like entrepreneurs that are kind of like it's really easy to get heavy. And it's like a new like competition. There's a competition model.
That's cool. Yeah, you don't seem fit at all. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's funny.
That's cool, man.
Anyway,
that's good, man. There's so many golden nuggets there. That's like something to like rewind and listen to like maybe two, 3 times. And I actually have a little secret. I remember you told me about this when we were having wine in Utah, and I implemented it right away. I don't come to the office until 10. The only thing is I wake up at about 6:15. I don't wake up at 5 yet, but I'll get there. I wake up at 6:15, and basically I have from 6:15 till 10 for me. I have there's a book called The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod that talks about like morning routines, what it's for, the science behind it, and he gives you pretty much like a breakdown of what to do. It's actually really cool. I don't know if you've read it, but
I have. Yeah,
it's an awesome book. I got like 80% of my morning is because of that book. And so I do the morning, and kind of like similar to what you do. And the one thing is something that I'll probably start implementing. I think that's a great idea. And yeah, it's important to have like your time, Obviously, if you're in the starting phase and you have 0 money and 0 leads and 0 something, maybe cut that a little bit, right? You're going to have to work a little bit harder than people who are already having leads and marketing and everything. But the principle behind it is kind of what Gary's saying. Like, you need that time for you to like just think and do what you have to do. Go to the gym, read, etc. Like, that is so key. I think that like when I don't have a good morning, I mean, I don't know about you, but when I don't have a good morning, I'm the crankiest person ever. Isn't that crazy?
It is. I'm the same way, and then I just reset. Every day is a bit of a reset. You said something for people that haven't been doing this for a long time. Like every one of us, you, me, we were all there. Terry, I was talking with Sean Terry about this. If we all start from nothing, right? And by the way, we're going to end with nothing, which is it's all right. It's like really, and so one of the things is like. And a lot of people, they're like, oh, I'm broke, or I have this, or I have that, or I'm divorced, or whatever. They wear it like a badge. It's like, it's a point in time. It's just like, no, I'm broke. I don't have money yet. That's the attitude. Yeah. And so, that's number one. Number two is like, if you haven't done this, it's like, just focus. How do you make money? Most important thing is sales and marketing in any business. So it's like education. A lot of people, they spend all this money on courses and coaching and training and this thing and that thing and rabbit trail here and there. And it's like, no, education without implementation is just costly entertainment.
Yeah.
Pick something, go, right? Yeah. 90 days. Focus on the marketing. Don't focus. A lot of people will say, I got to get the coaching first. It's like, no, you need the leads.
Yeah, you need leads.
Get in front of sellers, and then reach out and hear guys like these podcasts, like with you and with me. It's like, we're free. We love information.
We're free. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I know me for sure, but I'm pretty sure if someone sends you a direct message on Instagram, you're going to reply. It might not be right away, but eventually, right? If you reach out to me, or if you reach out to most of these guys, they'll reply just because it's what we do. We're on there to actually help. And believe it or not, all of us get a little bit of like, a little bit of fulfillment when somebody actually asks like a good question, whether you implement it or not, it's kind of up to you. But when someone reaches out to me and like asks me a good question, like, hey, I just sent my first mail drop. How do I, record the calls, or what do I say when they call me? Like, I love that. I'm like, man, this guy's like taking action, right? So to Gary's point, man, just reach out to people like us. I mean, I'm sure we'll put the show notes, your Instagram, and how they can find you. And we'll talk about kind of some of your companies in a bit, but just reach out. There's so much free info, right? Like, yeah, buying a product or paying for a coach is awesome, right? If for the right one. But man, there's so much free info. If you really have no money, that shouldn't be an excuse right now. In this day and age, 2019, not an excuse.
Yeah, there's a lot of good people out there. Actually, social media is phenomenal too. Back 10 years ago, there were a lot of smoke and mirror guys. I was all snake oil salesmen, and there really was. I was so turned off on it. And social media is great because it's really brought out the people that are the real ones. And it's the same thing. Here's what's interesting. I know every one of us, after you have the money and you have the toys, there's a deep desire to be able to give back, right? And
it's like Maslow's hierarchy, I think.
It is. And it's like, you were talking about, like, I'm not a big Facebooker, but I got a Facebook message from a guy probably like 6 weeks ago, right before going off to Europe. And it was probably an hour dialogue. He was asking, I don't have a lot of money on marketing. What would you do? And I know that hopefully it's respectful. And I'm literally, of course, I don't really get that many people. Yeah. It's like, oh, it's the Gary Boomershine. And I'm like, nobody knows me. I'm like a nobody. Come to my town, even my men's group. They're like, hey, what do you do? And I'm like, I like this stuff. I like being a nobody. So it's like, if I could actually help somebody and give them something. I love it when somebody says, man, you saved my marriage, or man, you gave me that, like you told me, you and I sat there, you were showing me some properties that you have. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, if that actually gives some benefit, there's so much meaning to me. It's real, right?
Yeah. No, it is fulfilling. So, I mean, if you guys are watching this and this is like something of value to you or any other episodes, like leaving a good review or comment, yeah, it's good for iTunes and stuff, but it really fuels people like me to keep bringing on awesome guests and providing content. It's just like that fuel, right? Like if you're working in your job and you're, let's say, a salesperson, and when you get a client that tells you, hey, good job, or hey, thanks for this, it fuels you to sell again. So that's kind of like the same concept here. We got just like maybe a couple more minutes here, but I want to ask you, so this is something I like to ask everyone I bring on the show, especially, you've been around for a while, so I'd be curious to hear your response. What would you say is the $100 million play in the real estate space? The next $100 million play in the real estate space?
So I'm not a $100 million guy.
Okay.
So I'm not swinging for the fences.
Okay.
And I say that because I wish I could say this is the next $100 million thing, but it's a bit of a humility thing for me. Right. Like I'm a Mr. Simple guy. Like people are like, I drive a truck. I live in California. I'm like the only guy in California that drives a truck. I drive a Ford F-250 diesel truck. It's low profile guy. I'm all about no debt. I actually don't even have a credit card.
No way.
Yeah, we do the Dave Ramsey, my wife and I. It's like, what I found is like you can make a lot of money. It's not about making the money. It's about keeping the money, right? Yep. And so I've got little stashes. I'm constantly pushing money over here and buying gold, buying silver. I'm like, so I don't think I have any value to add around what's the next $100 million play. I think there is how to actually have a lifestyle transformation change, and that is focus on cash now, cash flow, cash later in everything that we do. And I learned this from a guy. This guy was the guy who funded Google. His name is Don Valentine. He ran Sequoia, and I played golf with him. Long story. But he told me, he said, Gary, he goes, I tell this to all my CEOs. He goes, you want to save and manage your nickels. Manage them $5 at a time. He goes, because everybody's shooting and spending and growing. He goes, count the nickels. And I actually think the lending business, ultimately where all of us want to be, is buy a big property for the tax advantages, and appreciation. And ultimately, we should all be the bank. The money is actually, look at what are the biggest businesses biggest buildings on every street corner in the world, they're banks, because the business model works. It's lending. Lending is actually where the money's at. So all of the stuff that we're doing, fix and flip and rehabbing and wholesaling, it's not the means to an end. It's not the end, I should say.
Right.
It's a way to get, that's all cash now, but we need cash flow. That's lending and rental income, and cash later are going to be things like gold and silver, appreciating assets, holding an office building. So a lot of people get lost in this business. I don't know if that helps. I'm sure you've had some amazing innovative stuff, and I wish I could say it. To me, I'm much more of a block. Like for me, what is the $100 million opportunity? It's being able to have massive freedom of time to do whatever we want. I took a 6-week sabbatical in September. I just took three weeks off. I never thought about business. I recorded a bunch of videos. To me, it's all about time. And I think that's the $100 million opportunity for all of us, of just be focused on winning back our time. That's the most valuable commodity on this planet, is our time.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Basically what I'm getting from you is like the $100 million, play in your eyes is like the $100 million like lifestyle, which is free time. You pretty much kind of decide to work, decide to travel, and you don't really worry about money, or you don't worry about, work or any crazy responsibilities. Obviously there's, little things here and there, but $100 million lifestyle is in, what would you say? Is it like systematizing your business? Like where would you spend most of your energy? If, let's say for someone who's kind of like building a business, where would you spend most of your energy on building that like lifestyle that you?
Great question. Number one is, how much money do you need? You'll be shocked how little it is.
Okay.
It's a monthly number. It's not a big number. Everybody's focused on, you're chasing the tail. It's basically to pay for all of your expenses and your travel. How much money a month do you need? It's going to be like $10,000 to $25,000. It's not much bigger than that, right? For most of us, the real number. So focus on, what do I need to do to get that kind of passive income? Because once you have 25 or 30,000 a month coming in without you doing anything, you're done, right? You're done.
Yeah.
You're done. And so focusing on that. Number two is really getting clear on what that lifestyle does look like. Like, what do you want your lifestyle? Really knowing what that perfect day looks like.
Yeah.
Like we have a traction coaching program. We don't really this is where we spend all of our time with everybody. It's like, if you don't know where you want to go, you're never going to get anywhere. You're always going to be in the rabbit trail. And so what we want to do is get everybody off the rabbit trail and figure out, like, right. And so I think that's the most important, of knowing where you want to go. What is life going to look like? How much do you need? Why are you even doing real estate? Like, why are you doing this? Like, what makes you really passionate about it? So once you do that, now you can really kind of come up and say, okay, what is it going to look like? And knowing that it's just you now, but in 3 months, like, you're going to say, hey, for the next 3 months, I'm running hard. I'm going to get a couple of deals across the goal line. I'm going to invest in marketing, right? Get a company like REIvault to do it for me. And then I'm going to actually make enough money that I can hire a salesperson, right, to do the hard part for me. And now I've got that coming in, and then I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. So looking out 2 to 3 years, imagine if we were sitting here, anybody on this show, in 2 years, you could be totally financial free. You could have some money coming in, and you could have a small team doing the work. Okay, you don't have $50 million in your bank account.
Right.
Right. But you've got a life where you could actually go to Hawaii and live in Hawaii, right? Chris Arnold lives in Tulum, which is Cancun, Mexico.
Love that.
And right, he lives there full time. His team does 150 deals a year in Dallas. So, but it didn't come easy, but that's what he wanted. That's what he said. Okay, this is where I want to be in 3 years with his wife.
That's awesome. So anyway, basically really keep the end in mind and just go for that daily. Build that business daily. I love that.
Yeah. I actually think you have to have a coach, an accountability coach, to help you do this. I couldn't, and by the way, everybody that's listening to me, I didn't figure out any of this on my own. I would have, So I'm just repeating things after so many years.
Yeah.
That have come from really good coaches that have given to me, and I'm just like, and I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on the training and huge mistakes, and it's like, hey, here's knit it all out. This is the best information they gave me that actually worked, and it's simple. It's simple.
Wow, I love that, and we're sharing it right here.
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy, man. All right, man. So yeah, just to wrap it up, I always like to wrap it up with, you know, what is like the one right now? We're July 10th, 2019. What is like the one tactical move advice you can give to somebody to get a deal, you know, the soonest deal possible with the least amount of money in 2019 July? You know, what kind of marketing would they do? What would they do to be able to get that deal that you would say right now?
Yeah, I still like direct mail.
Oh yeah.
I think you could do cold calling, but there's some moving parts on that. I will give everybody the script of what to say to talk to the seller. We got the perfect words to say to the seller, but here's what I would do if it were me, and I started from nothing today. I'd go sign up and get Smart. So Kent Clothier's list, his data list. I'd get that, or I'd go to Connected Investors and get Ross Hamilton's list because they're super cheap. Just get that. Don't worry about it. Just pull the absentee, high equity list.
Okay.
And that would be the first thing I'd do. If I didn't have much of anything, I'd then call Graphics Connection, which is Jeff Charlton. Say Gary Boomershine said your name, or Raul or Kent or any of us.
Right.
He's the most trusted guy. There's a lot of other people that may be a little cheaper, but he knows what postcard. He'd say, okay, I'm going to send out the postcard, and then be relentless. Just call talk to those sellers when those leads come in. 40 to 45 seller calls should produce you one deal.
Okay.
So it's just, that's it. So it's period. And the only reason it takes more than 45 is because you're not talking to the seller, period. It's proven. So that's what I would do. The driving for dollars, you could drive for dollars, but I think that's more costly, more timely. It's like, what's the fastest way to the money? It's like, spend $2,000, come up with everybody has $2,000. You can do 2,000, put it all in the mail, get those first couple of deals, right? $2,000 should make you 12 to 15 grand.
Yep. Be
relentless, and then immediately take that money or part of that money and reinvest it into marketing.
Love
get
that.
The next 50 grand.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. We still do mail up to now, and I know you're a big proponent of mail. And I would even add, so exactly what Gary said, I think it's awesome. The only thing I would add too, and probably correct me if I'm wrong, answer the phone live.
Always answer the phone live.
Yeah. Or really do your best. Like out of 40 calls, you better miss maybe 1 or 2 max. If you can't answer because you're working a 9 to 5, that's okay. Get an answering service. I think you can offer some of that. We could talk a little bit about what REIvault does now. But basically, like, get someone to answer live. That has changed our mail results dramatically when we started answering everything live.
Answer every call live. If you can answer the call live, if you really don't have the opportunity to bring somebody in, do it for you. Answer the calls live 100%. I mean, it's so important. The profits are there. I wanted to say, there was one other thing I was going to say. Oh, if you could co-wholesale, that's another great way. You really don't have any money. It's like, find somebody else that's done all the work, and they're out there. You can go out right onto their different websites. They're out there, right? They're looking for buyers, and just say, hey, if I bring a buyer to you, and then split the profit. You don't need any money.
Nothing. Cool, man. So I know the last time that you spoke about REIvault was probably like, that I remember seeing was probably like a year ago.
Yeah.
I know I have some friends in common that are using it. They've kind of told me and stuff, but pretend I'm brand new. I've never heard of it. What does like REIvault do for someone who wants to get into real estate investing, or someone who's already flipping houses or whatever? Yeah.
So we are basically your marketing and your sales team. So if somebody is thinking, oh, I don't want to do this myself, and I want to pay a VA, what's the cost of a VA? Imagine if we were your VA on steroids. So imagine you're tapping into the most competent, expert unicorn VA that does it all, right? So you're tapping into a team of the equivalent of 40 people for the cost of one VA, one $10 an hour resource. But here's the deal: you got to be committed with us. You're going to commit to 3 months, and if you're not committed to doing marketing for 3 months, you really shouldn't be doing the business. And then it should be 6. And then also, it's like people that are really good and ready for us, they're ready to scale. So it's not a brand new investor. They're not totally broke on a shoestring budget. It's like you're gonna need a marketing budget, and you're gonna be like, hey, I'm ready. I've done deals and I'm ready to scale up. I want to do 10, or I want to do 10 a month. We have people that are spending $30,000 to $50,000 a month on marketing with us. So we take that budget and we make it happen for them. We do all the work. We've got proprietary mailing lists. Our lists are better than almost everybody out there except Chris Richter. Chris Richter's probably got the best list, but you're going to pay $30,000 for his list, right?
Oh shit.
So we're gonna pull the list. We're going to do all the marketing. We guarantee the lowest cost on the mail. We set up all the systems. If you've got your own system, like the best system out there is probably Investor PO, Robert Seaford. Actually, I think he's in your market.
In Tampa or Jacksonville.
Yeah. There's Investor Fuse 1.0, 2.0, 4.0, whatever the thing of the day is. Podio, a lot of people have Podio, but we'll set up the system or whatever it is. We give it away for free if you don't already have one. But the most important is we also have the phone team that will do all the phone work. And like all the follow-up and the appointment scheduling. So the leads come in, and then our phone team will actually do all the work to put you in front of the seller at the right time, and they'll follow up with them forever. We also have cold calling, so we can do outbound cold calling. Okay. And it works out to about $10 a month. Our cold calling service, if somebody's just using cold calling, like on average, cold calling is, I know, like 1,000 calls a day. There's $2,500 a month. We use them as well. We have a service, but it's $1,500 a month. So $1,500 a month. We have somebody that's calling for you 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you guys don't keep yourselves busy at all or anything, no?
Yeah. And I've got some free stuff. If you're following Raul, you can go to REIvault.com/VIP. Awesome. And then we're an invite only group. It's just, we don't take on that many people. It's we have semi-exclusivity. So there's a bunch of markets that are not available around the country.
Yep.
But it's invite only means we've had people like hit us up off of Facebook. We've just found like friends of friends of friends are the people. There are people. They're like action takers.
Yeah.
They listen to the right people on podcasts. They take the right advice. Their abundance mentality. And so you'd fill out an application to join. We get on a live call just to make sure it's a good fit. Hey, it works for you. It works for us. And make a decision together. There's no, you won't have any sales pressure. We're averaging like 15 people a month. That's it. And our average members with us for 27 months right now.
Wow.
So it's a long-term relationship, and our team really, we have a private Facebook group. People are super interactive. Sharing deals with one another, what's working, and that's how we're finding out when the market's turning, or
love that
this direct mail piece doesn't work. It's like we're finding that out fast because we're all like non-competitive. Yeah,
I mean, the good thing is that since you have all these high-level investors, all these awesome people doing business, you get to see all the trends firsthand, and I'm sure you use those trends to help your clients, make adjustments. Hey, these postcards are not working as much. Or, sending at this frequency is probably going to work a little bit better, et cetera, because you guys send so much mail and you can see all that data.
Yeah, man. And it helps me too. I mean, like I get just as much value. Like people are like, how can you do all this for the price that you charge? And I'm like, let me just show you like on my real estate business, what it's done for me. right? And so it's fun. So yeah, REIvault.com/VIP, and you guys can. I love people that want to hit me up. I'm brand new on Instagram. I've never been I'm not the millennial, but I have my morning minutes there. I'm starting to add hey, here's I've lost 40 pounds. Here's how I did it. Keto, intermittent fasting. So if you like it, just tell me. And if you don't like it, don't be a hater.
Love that, man. Love that. So, all right, guys, go follow Gary, REIvault.com/VIP if you want to learn more about their services. Hey, man, thanks for the information. This was a really good podcast. It was filled with numbers, information, things about the market. I learned so much on this call, so I'm going to re-listen to it myself. All right, subscribe, guys, if you like this stuff, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.